Rob, the guy behind the camera right now, is a flight instructor, and he always says to me that when I talk about speed that I would never be able to keep up with the aircraft, but I'm sorry, I love it, whatever he says, and Mooney is synonymous with speed. Susan, you're from Mooney. Why is it speed you go for?
It's always been a characteristic of the Mooney since its invention in 1946 by Al Mooney, and it continues. We continue to build on his infamous design and just make it faster and faster. But there are some key elements that create that speed for Mooney, and it's the tail, the all-trimming tail with no trim tabs, and it's the laminar flow wing, and it's some elements that you just can't beat.
What about that sort of compromise, though? Because if you are going for speed, you've got to balance that up with fuel as well, haven't you? So how do you balance that?
Very well, in fact. You're standing in front of an Ovation3 that in cruise will burn 16 gallons an hour at the most, and cruise
what sort of speed? Yeah.
About 185 knots. So the ratio of speed to the fuel burn is relatively low.
Now let's talk about the kind of people that buy this. You know, a lot of people perhaps have got their license, they've been playing with complex aircraft for the first time, and it's time to get something serious. Is that the person?
It is. It's a true pilot's airplane. It's a business person's airplane for sure. In the U.S., we commonly sell them into a business that has multiple locations, that sort of thing. Same here in Europe.
It's a fly your own, though, isn't it? Because we were wandering around the Beechcraft and their Premier jet thing earlier, and it's the kind of thing that you're probably going to sit in the back. Whereas I guess in this, you want to fly it yourself, don't you? Primarily,
because it does appeal to the pilot so much, just because of the way the controls feel to a pilot in a Mooney. But we are seeing more and more again, in the U.S. market, where they're cutting back on some of the jet expenses and that sort of thing, that they're putting a pilot in the left seat and the head of the company sitting in the back, and it makes for an easy, 1 to 2 person transport, which we're finding so many of the jets are turned on. And
they're being used for anyway, aren't they? It's a bit like a car, isn't it?
Exactly.
You know, how often do you really have 4 people in a car or more?
Exactly.
So can we get in there? Can we have a look inside? Go on, after you. You go and open it up, and then we will clamber our way in. Follow you in there, and if Rob can somehow squeeze around here to actually have a look inside. Now, I must admit, for many people who've been training in, let's face it, a grotty old 172, which has been used by the training school for many, many years, this would be lovely, wouldn't it? You've got full glass panel cockpit as well.
It is.
Tell us a bit about it.
Yes, it's G1000 with the Garmin Autopilot GFC 700 standard. We have synthetic vision now. We've got the XM weather and radar in the U.S. We can overlay so many of the things that are useful here in Europe, like Storm Scope, Skywatch, ADF. All of that easily displays on the G1000.
I was talking to Garmin yesterday, and I was saying, look, the thing that I get excited about with GPS is that it's reduced the pressure, the workload, and it means that more people can come into aviation now, and you don't have to have that top degree in maths. You can actually get on and enjoy flying more. Presumably that has helped a lot more people come in and buying Mooney's and other aircraft.
Very true, very true. Yes, I think it's very appealing that they know their exact position, they feel a little more comfortable. I think that's extremely true.